start.
All right.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
All right. All right.
Good morning, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I'm here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: to the presumption of innocence, to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, to a speedy and public trial by jury, to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, and to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you can remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Where the bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Lastly, would everyone raise their right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that any statements you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have the lawyer who is logged in for Miss Armstrong. Can we bring Monique Armstrong up, please?
Good morning, all.
Good morning. So I've set bond on some of these offenses and I've denied bond on 5 offenses. The motor vehicle hijacking, the aggravated assault, the kidnapping, the motor vehicle, second count of motor vehicle hijacking, And the second aggravated assault charge. I will hear from you, sir, as to
Thank,
anything you want to tell me about your client and the bond.
thank you, Your Honor. My client, as you can see, the court can verify she has no criminal history, Your Honor. Mom and sister and the rest of the family are watching on YouTube.
Okay.
Sadly, Your Honor, I do believe that my client has lived without any diagnosis, but there is a history of severe mental health in her family. At this point, and if you see the warrant specifically for the victim that was a stranger, if you see that police report, you can see that he says that there was something wrong with this lady. She tried to allegedly tried to take his car at knife point, and he could very easily overpower her, put her under control, and wait until authorities got there, defending himself. And he even let the cops know that it seems like there's something wrong with her. We believe that she was suffering some kind of mental health breakdown, Your Honor. She has had panic attacks before. There's history of psychosis in the family. She hasn't been diagnosed, Your Honor. We ask you to consider giving her a bond with very strict conditions and commander, 24-hour curfew, allow her to get a mental health evaluation. Obviously, no contact with the victims. She would be staying with her mom. Again, this seems to be completely out of character with her. I do believe from where my colleague Chinwe Foster met with her, there was my client was confused. He didn't even understand where she was. We do believe that going into a mental health facility eventually would be what's best for her to get the treatment that she needs. Right now, mom is scrambling to trying to find a place, trying to find her a bed. But in the meantime, we ask that you allow her to go home to her mom with a non-commander and absolutely just a 24-hour curfew. So that way the state can ensure that she is under supervision. And if she breaks that curfew in any way, her bond can be revoked. I know it's asking for a lot, Your Honor, but we just ask that you set a number on all the charges, a number that the court deems to be reasonable, and allow her to start identifying what led to these very tragic events, Your Honor.
So my background has been as a criminal defense lawyer for more than 20 years, and I've represented clients in over 30 death penalty cases. And a lot of the clients that I've represented have the same background that you just stated. If you are in the midst of a mental health episode, you're not following rules. You're not following law. You're doing whatever you believe that you can do based upon that history. So I'm going to leave the no bond status in place with the understanding that the family can set up a situation for her to go, and these conditions can be changed and modified. But I am unwilling to place her on the street because I have to be concerned about public safety. And that's everybody that she will interact with. And I can't have her to carry through with what I've seen here and end up in the unnecessary death of another person. And my clients, when I represented them in death penalty cases, a lot of times, the first time they ever fired a gun was that they fired a gun and killed someone, or they stabbed someone and that person died. So the family, if they're listening, they need to set up a situation that she can be transferred into and she can get evaluated and treated. And that if I'm the person that's at that point, when that happens, my decision would be for her to have her bond conditions would be that she maintains medication and she follows through with what the doctor has applied. Because the situation that you've placed forward, the family would be the people that would have to report her. And I'm don't know the family, but I know a lot of times that also has been the situation. Family knows that if they reports her, she goes back to jail. They don't want her to go back to jail, so they don't report her non-compliance. So I'm going to leave it the way that it's set. She has a $2,000 bond set on the obstructing an officer charge, a $2,000 bond on the hit and run accident, a $2,000 bond on the second reckless driving charge, a $500 bond on the following too close, a $2,000 bond on the second hit and run charge, $500 bond on the second following too close, a $2,000 bond on the reckless driving, and a $5,000 bond on the battery. There's going to be a stairway provision on the bond to stay away from a Shedrick peril. And that's the person that she is alleged to have gotten in the car and held a knife on him. Her preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. Her bond hearing date is going to be set for December 10th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. In counsel, as you know, the district attorney's office, they can decide that they want to consent to conditions of bond. And if they're going to consent, we generally don't have a dog in that fight. So if there's a consent order that's placed forward, 9 times out of 10, the judge will sign it. But
Yes, sir.
that's going to have to be based upon their investigation and kind of understanding the situation more than what we have now.
And John, just for clarification, which are the charges that remain with no bond?
The motor vehicle hijacking that has a warrant number of 2021 WA18605. The aggravated assault charge that has a warrant number of 2021 WA18606. The charge of kidnapping that has a warrant number of 2021 WA18607. The second charge of motor vehicle hijacking that has a warrant number of 2021 WA18611. The second charge of aggravated assault that has a warrant number of 2021 WA18612. Those are the 5 charges that do not have a bond set.
Thank you, Ron. And I know you made a decision. I know that it's going to be no bond, and we are hoping that it's going to be a negotiation bond once we get some structure into where she will be placed. But I just have to ask you, Honor, it is a number of charges. Wherever she ends up going will be quite a financial burden on the family. Just asking if you reconsider on the misdemeanors, just leave it at a straight $1,000 bond for each of the misdemeanors. And then when we revisit the no bond charges, maybe that will be a little more substantial with the special conditions and understanding that they're going to have to pay for whatever housing she's going to find. We don't want the actual treatment to be prevented because they can't even afford a bond, John.
Well, I'm going to leave the bond for the misdemeanor set as I've stated. If what I heard from you is that she has undiagnosed and untreated potentially undiagnosed and untreated mental health issues. If that's the case, then there needs to be a push to have her placed on SSI and to have her in a position where someone is responsible for her and that she then is getting compensated because she is mentally ill if it's that severe, and that can happen and someone can be responsible for it, and there will be funds available for her to either go to an assisted living situation or for her to remain at home, but that there's someone that's responsible for her so that
Yes, sir.
it's not a situation where she's, out on the street doing whatever she wants to do. And if the family members are willing to take that on and they're willing to raise their hand and volunteer to step in, great. If they're not, I can't be the person that is going to be responsible for her out roaming the streets doing whatever she wants to do.
Understood, Your Honor. And one
Okay.
last regard, is it possible for me to have a quick breakout with her so I can just let her know what's happened today?
We don't have that function available. So you would have to come to the jail to have a conversation with her.
Okay.
But Miss Armstrong, it looks as though your lawyer is on top of this issue and managing this issue. The decisions that I've made today are based upon my desire to have the public safe. And as I stated earlier, these conditions can be changed. But we just need to have the appropriate things in place so that people in the public are not in danger and that you are not in danger of doing something that could end with your spending the rest of your life in prison. Okay, ma'am? All right. Is there anything else, sir?
Nothing. This concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. And Mr. Armstrong, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great weekend.
You too. All right. So let's see. I think the next person we have on the ladies' side is Miss Francis.
Ms. Francis.
Ma'am, you're charged with one count of criminal trespass. I've set the bond at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, darling.
Okay, ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Step forward, state your name.
Morning, I'm Natalia Grandison.
Miss Grandison, give me 1 second, ma'am. Okay, Miss Grandison, you're charged with one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Bond is going to be set at $20,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir.
Okay, there's going to be a stairway provision on bond, stay away from a Tempest Crawford. Do you understand that? Did you say yes?
I don't know how she looked, but yes, I will.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your ability to post a bond. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Sure. Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Can you lower my bond,
Okay, so
please?
okay, ma'am. I will reduce the bond to $10,000. And I'll tell you this. I have a problem with people discharging firearms because every time you discharge a firearm, that's a murder waiting to happen.
Yes, sir.
And the punishment for murder in the state of Georgia is you're in custody for 30 years before you're eligible for parole. So I try to help people by teaching a lesson
Yes, sir.
because you were just one step away from looking at spending the rest of your life in prison. Let's see.
Jesus.
Your date of birth is 91. You'll be looking at leaving prison as a very elderly lady.
I'll be 30 on the 8th, so 60 something.
Is it worth it?
No, sir. My mom and my children, I want to say they kind of are, but no, sir, it's not.
Okay. Well, all right, ma'am. I'm gonna set it at $10,000.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, ma'am. You're free to go back.
Andrea, hi.
Ma'am, you're charged with one count of having dangerous drugs outside of the container. Bond is going to be set at $3,000 on that offense, and one count of violation of the Controlled Substance Act. Which is a misdemeanor. Bond's going to be set at $2,000. So you're going to have a total bond set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
So there's
Do you
no
want-
lower that too, or no?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
There's no way the 5,000 can get lowered?
Well, it can. It's my decision, but I'm not going to lower it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No.
Did you say no?
I mean, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, ma'am, you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any other questions for me, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Shaniqua Lamar.
Okay, Miss Lamar, ma'am, you're charged with one count of theft by taking as a misdemeanor. Bond is going to be set at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. The date will get waived upon your ability to bond out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
I'm asking that Your Honor, would you lower my bond?
What's the basis of your request?
The basis of my request is that I'm a mother of 6 kids, and I have really learned my lesson. I have been arrested since August, and I'm asking that you lower my bond to $100 so I could get back to my kids. And my son has COVID-19, so I'm trying to get back home to them as quick as possible.
Okay, I'm gonna deny your request, ma'am. The allegations of this offense are something that was within your control, and you did not have to do what the allegations said that you did. You have to understand that there are other people on the other side of this who are the alleged victims, and they have to deal with stuff because of your actions
Yes, sir.
as they are alleged. Okay.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
ma'am. You're free to go back.
Thank you.
Miss Bermudez, let's see. Miss Bermudez, give me maybe 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be done with this, and we can switch over to the two individuals that we need you for.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Miss Martin, you're Miss Martin?
Shatavius Martin.
Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree, which is a felony offense. Bond is going to be set at $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's going to be a stairway provision on the bond, stay away from a Larry Perryman. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you think that you may lower my bond amount?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, you're Miss Parker.
Yes.
Ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of unlawful conduct during a 911 call. Bond's going to be set at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No.
Come on.
Did you say no?
No.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your ability to bond out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No. Well, yes, one. Will I be released today?
If you post bond today, yes, ma'am, you will be released. So, ma'am, the allegations in your case is that you call 911 and use vulgar and profane language. That's something that's totally within your control.
I was intoxicated, and I was calling because me and my boyfriend were arguing.
Okay, ma'am. You know, the quickest way to get arrested is to call the police. Because
I felt like I was being threatened.
well, I'll say this, ma'am. There are only so many amount of law enforcement officers for each shift. And at the time that you're calling the police because you and your boyfriend are arguing, someone has a gun pointed on them, someone's door is getting kicked in, someone really actually needs the police. but they can't have police services because too many adults are acting like children. So don't be that person in the future. Because the first thing people say is, well, I called the police and nobody showed up. Clayton County, they don't care. They didn't show up. But they're all out on calls, dealing with adults who are acting like children. So if this was not an incident where the police were actually needed, don't call the police. We don't have the resources to have 100,000 officers just waiting to come out and to police everybody. And then if we did, the thing will be, well, I just walked to my mailbox and a police officer came and told me to do this or do that. Ma'am, you got to create the community that you want to live in. And if you don't, you can't complain. Okay?
Agreed.
All right, ma'am, you're free to go back. Ms. Tyson. Ma'am, you charge one count of battery. Bond's been set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I could possibly post it today, but I don't have any, a way to, get anybody up here. I don't have any property on me. Like my ID and my wallet and stuff, they didn't let me, grab my information and stuff.
Okay, there's going to be a stairway provision on the bond to stay away from a Terry and Kennard. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. The date will get waived upon your bonding out and you will get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
So upon my arrest, my vehicle was released to the victim because the officer let me give her the keys and stuff to my vehicle, which is registered in my name and stuff like that. So, you know, me and Taryn, basically, like, we have, we got a house together and we live in the same, like, residency. And I paid half of the bills there, so.
I have yet to hear a question, ma'am. You've given me a statement of facts.
I was trying to see if I can, basically, like, I have no other choice or where to go, basically, because I live with her. So I was just trying to figure out, like, once I do post bond, like, what will I be able to do, like, if we live together?
So there's a stay away provision that's in place. And basically that stay away provision is there because we don't want whatever incident that led for you to appear before me today to reignite this evening. Because you're eligible for bond, you have a bond, you can bond out. So we don't know the whole story. We have facts that we rely upon. If Ms. Kennard contacts the solicitor's office and she's not afraid of you, she can ask them to have this condition modified or changed. And if they consent to it, they'll bring it to a judge and the judge will sign off on it. If she says, you know, thank God, I'm happy that she is out of the house. I don't want to change that provision. I don't want to ever see her again. Then the provision will remain in place. I don't know you, ma'am, and I don't know her, and I don't know the circumstances other than what's been sworn to in the warrant before me. So I can't make broad proclamations about what will happen. But I will share this with you. As an adult, this is the dumbest thing to get arrested over. And people do it every day. And my calendar is probably 40% filled with people that are getting in arguments with persons that they've moved in with. So all I can do is follow the law. As a general matter, I will tell you that unless and until you are in a relationship that has the force of law behind it, don't move in with somebody. Because it all sounds sweet at the beginning. But relationships are hard because adults get to make their own decisions. And just because a person is making a decision that you don't agree with doesn't mean that a fight gets to take place. Okay? All right. Any other questions, ma'am?
I do have one more question before I go. Is there any way that my bond can be lowered so I can like at least try to post it today?
No, ma'am. I set the bond for battery at $5,000. And I set it that way for a reason. That the next time that this happens, you're going to remember this experience. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. You're free to go back. Mr. Khalil. We have Miss
Miss Winters, Your Honor.
Miss Winters. Mr. Khalil.
Yes, Judge.
Sir, who are you representing?
I apologize. I represent Daniel Castillo.
Okay. We'll come back to you in a second. Because he's also one of the individuals that we need the interpreter for.
Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Ma'am, you're charged with one count of endangering a security interest. Bond is going to be set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. You didn't complete the form. Do you plan on hiring your own attorney?
Yes, sir. I have already hired an attorney, Gerald Briggs, but I didn't know he could be here this morning.
Okay. It's not necessary for him to be here this morning. Did he tell you that he was going to be here this morning?
No, because I didn't know he could be here. He the one informed me of what the charge was. I didn't understand what the charges were, and he didn't either until we got the police. So he went and came to Clayton County, until he got the description of the case or whatever. I didn't.
Okay. So I'll tell you, ma'am, this warrant was taken out December 20th of 2019. And what it says is that there was a silver 2007 Mercedes-Benz S550 that you allegedly purchased from Atlanta Fine Cars, and that you signed a contract to make installment payments for this vehicle, and that you stopped making payments on December 11th of 2015, and that you refused to answer calls that were placed from Atlanta Fine Cars to you for the return of the vehicle. And it looks like it says the last payment was made on February 26th of 2018. So it's basically, it looks like they're saying that you entered into a contract, an agreement to pay on this vehicle, and that you stopped paying on the vehicle in violation of the contract.
I speak? No?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This same warrant, sir, was issued in 2018 also, and you all, Clayton County dismissed it, and the reason why it got dismissed, because the paperwork was showing where the car was, showing that I contacted Atlanta Fine Cars, letting them know that I know you don't, and I'm supposed to discuss the case, but the motor went out in the vehicle a year after I got the vehicle, so they gave me another vehicle, which was this vehicle. And the motor went out the car thing in the same place that I called and notified them 18 where the car was, but they reissued this warrant again in 19. I just found out about when I got here.
Okay, so you need to speak to your attorney about this.
Yes, sir.
Because if it's a civil dispute, that is something that can be resolved. But this warrant, as I stated before, the warrant was issued back in.
It was issued again in 19. Yes, sir. But the first one was issued in 2018 and it got dismissed.
Yeah, I was not here. I don't know. There's the name of the affiant, but the person that's swearing to these facts is Tayshana Bruce.
They changed the name. The original lady was Miss May, but they came in, like I said, I know the facts of the case. They came and did it again. The first lady that did it was Miss May. Now the Sean is the second lady that's in the office. So they said they're gonna keep doing it until, but like I said, the car is where they can get it. But I was only asking, Your Honor, because I have paid my attorney already on this matter. Is there any way I can get a lower bond amount? Because I've already paid an attorney as well. Like I said, if I had known that he could have been here this morning up front, they told me that my attorney was not needed for a first appearance. I was going in front of the monitor, but I would have had him here present with the, the facts and the documents that he has collected and I have given him. So I'm asking, is there any way you can put a bond, sir?
So I'm gonna leave the bond the way that it's set, because these proceedings are not set up to be adversarial, meaning I get to hear from both sides.
Yes, sir.
So I've given you the information that I have before me so that you can hopefully share that with your attorney. And if this is something that has already been litigated before, it may be ripe for a motion to dismiss.
Yeah,
but I don't have that. Well, I'm just saying, I don't have that information before me.
Okay.
So it sounds like you've been dealing with this for a while. What I would encourage you to speak to your attorney about is getting the documentation as to whatever happened in the past and whatever happens with this, so that you're just not in a position where you're subject to being arrested. Because if what you said to me is true, this warrant should have been dismissed.
And it's not in it's not in the record of the case?
No, ma'am. And that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's warrants it takes an active effort to dismiss warrants. They're just not automatically dismissed.
And honestly, the first one, sir, I didn't appear about it, didn't know about it until this warrant came about. So that warrant was issued and dismissed. Like I said, it's in the records on TV by Clayton County. My attorney Gerald agreed to pull all of it. The warrant was issued and dismissed without me knowing, without me showing up for court. I knew nothing about it until I came for this time.
Okay, I'm gonna accept what you're telling me, Ms. Winters. I'm gonna reduce the bond to $1,000.
Thank you, sir.
And so you can at least start down the pathway
Yes, sir.
of getting this matter resolved.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. So that's the end of the lady side, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your assistance. Have a good weekend.
You
And,
as well, sir.
we'll switch over to the ladies side. I'm sorry, the men's side.
Thank you, sir.
And Miss Bermudez,
Yes, sir. Good morning.
how are you doing? Happy Friday to you.
Well,
On a cold, rainy day in Georgia.
yes, sir. Where are your pearls, Judge?
I'm sorry.
You're not wearing your pearls this morning?
Oh, no. I can barely try to stay up to watch the game. I think I make it to the 6th or 7th inning before I fall asleep.
I represent for you, Judge. I got it right here waiting. Everything you need, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Khalil. So you're representing Mr. What is it? Is it
Castillo.
Castillo? So can we bring Mr. Daniel Castillo Mejia up?
Judge, do we have two Castillos on the list?
I believe it's the same person, but it's written differently. There's a 2020, there's 3 2020 warrants, or actually 4, and then there are 3 2021 warrants. And the names are written differently.
Okay, so it's the same person.
I believe so.
Okay.
And that is what I was going to try to dig into. Mr. Khalil, do you know about the 2 separate, or it looks like 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 3, 6, 7. There's 7 warrants, 4 from 2020, 3 from 2021. Do you know about those?
No. So I met with him and his wife yesterday and the investigator before I turned him in late last night. And he told me that it was about 7 warrants. He didn't have the warrants in front of him. He didn't tell me that there were separate incidents, though. He did just tell me, I asked him what was the highest one, at least, so I can get my mind wrapped around what I was looking at. But I did not know that there were 2 separate incidents from 2 separate years. And when I spoke to his wife, she just described it to me as one situation, one altercation when she was here with me yesterday.
So it looks like there's an incident date of May 9th of 2020. And that's where the 4 warrants come from, with failure to maintain lane, criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree as a felony, hit and run accident, as driving as an unlicensed driver.
Okay, so he did tell me, well, she told me through him that he did have a few driving was suspended, but that particular instance that you're referring to, with the criminal damage and everything, I was told from his wife that she actually was end up being charged, and those cases was dropped against him. That was just my understanding. She eventually was picked up and charged with those charges. So in any instance, I guess we're here today. I'll still be able to go forward on them and just address them accordingly. But I believe that she was charged with those. And then the newer ones, which should be the ag assault and family domestic violence or something like that, are the ones that we had our discussion about yesterday. That's what we turned to.
And those are alleged to have occurred on August 14th of 2021.
Yes.
And it's aggravated assault by strangulation, family violence, battery, and false imprisonment.
Yes.
And I have placed a no bond on the felony charges. And I've granted bond on the misdemeanors of $1,000 on the hit and run, $500 on the unlicensed resident, $5,000 on the family violence battery, and $500 on the failure to maintain lane.
I appreciate it, Judge, and just for record purposes, if it's okay for me to be heard on the two felonies, briefly, if possible.
Yes, sir. And I just tell you that just so that you understand where my mind is going, and I'm going to give you every opportunity to speak on behalf of your client as it relates to the charges and the bond. So we'll bring you in, Ms. Bermudez. So I'm going to refer to him as Mr. Mejia because that's how it is on the bond order. Mr. Mejia, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señor Mejía, ¿puede usted escuchar y entender a la intérprete?
Sí.
Yes.
This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County.
Esta es su comparecencia inicial ante el Tribunal de Primera Instancia del Condado de Clayton.
I'm not here to determine your guilt or innocence.
Yo no estoy acá para determinar su culpabilidad o inocencia.
I'm here to set a bond on your case.
Yo estoy acá para otorgarle fianza en su caso.
To tell you about future court dates.
Para decirle cuándo van a ser sus próximas cortes.
And to see if you require the assistance of an attorney.
Y ver si usted requiere la asistencia de un abogado.
You have taken advantage of the opportunity to hire an attorney.
Usted ha tomado la ventaja o la oportunidad y ha contratado un abogado.
So I will be speaking with your attorney during this proceeding.
O sea que yo voy a hablar con su abogado durante esta audiencia.
I will caution you that anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you.
Yo le debo advertir de que cualquier cosa que usted diga durante esta audiencia podría ser usada en su contra.
So please don't make any statement that you would not want the whole world to hear.
O sea que por favor no haga ningún tipo de declaraciones o no diga nada que usted no quiera que todo el mundo sepa.
Do you understand that, sir?
¿Entiende usted esto, señor?
Sí, señor.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I see that Ms. Torres has logged on and there's a person by the name, it shows up as Johnson that is logged on. Are both of these people involved in this case, Mr. Khalil?
Ms. Torres is his wife, and I did send her the link. I usually get the links with email saying you don't forward out, but I didn't know if it was like able to be watched on YouTube, but she wanted to be here just in case she had anything to say to help her husband out. But I did send her the link so she can appear or at least see what's going on.
Do you intend to call her as a witness?
No, but since I know that he didn't speak English, just in case he didn't get a mom and he called her, she can be able to relate what's going on because she has been our basic translator for our consultation.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute her.
Yes.
And there's a person that appeared as Johnson.
Now, Ms. Johnson is not with me.
Okay, it looks like it's from the sheriff's office, so I'm gonna leave that there. So, Mr. Khalil, we have an interpreter, so I had to learn this. So speak in short chunks so that Ms. Bermudez can translate what you're saying for your client, okay? And it generally involves like speak a sentence and stop so that she can translate.
I just had all 4 of my teeth extracted out, so I will be speaking slow.
Okay. All right. So, and Ms. Bermudez, you can translate this and then we'll start the process. Mr. Khalil, tell me what you want to tell me about your client.
Señor Khalil, dígame lo que usted me quiere decir con respecto a su cliente.
Yes. Mr. Castillo is 28 years old.
I'm sorry, Mr. Khalil. He is how old? The interpreter didn't get that.
28.
20?
28.
28. El señor Castillo tiene 28 años de edad.
He's a resident of Clayton County for 12 years.
Él ha sido residente del condado de Clayton por 12 años.
He has been working as a construction worker.
Él ha estado trabajando como un trabajador de la construcción.
And a certified forklift driver for 12 years.
Y ha estado trabajando como un certificado para operar un montacarga por 8, did you say 8 years?
12.
Por 12 años.
Currently, he's the only one working in the family, so he's considered the breadwinner.
Actualmente, él es la única persona que está trabajando en su familia, o sea que a él se le considera ser el proveedor.
Him and his wife share 2 kids.
Él y su esposa tienen dos niños.
Ages 2.
De edades 2 años.
And 8 months.
Y 8 meses.
He has been friends with his wife for 10 years.
Él ha sido amigo de su esposa por 10 años.
Been in a relationship for 6 years.
Han estado en una relación por 6 años.
And legally married for 3 years.
Y legalmente casados por 3 años.
His background judge is no convictions, only warrants from the no license and driving.
Su información personal es que él no tiene condena, solamente órdenes de arresto por no licencia de conducir.
His ties to the community is him and his wife are active members at the South Felipe de Jesus Catholic Church.
South Felipe. Sus vínculos con la comunidad es que ellos han sido miembros de la South Felipe de Jesús Iglesia Católica.
Dios Pentecostal Church.
Sorry, Mr. Khalil.
We didn't even run over. I'm sitting in court, bro. Judge.
Hold on. What's the background noise?
I think that was coming from the jail and they muted it.
Yeah, I understand that. I wanted to understand what was going on and who was making the disturbance. So let's wait a second. This happens from time to time. And while we're waiting, Mr. Khalil, I may want to hear from Miss Miriam Torres Rodriguez.
Mientras esperamos, señor Khalil, puede ser que yo quiera escuchar de parte de Miriam Torres Rodríguez.
Understood.
Entendido. And Mr. Khalil, just to make sure, because the interpreter could hear some noises while you were speaking, when you mentioned some of the warrants, you said a warrant for no license. You said no convictions, but a warrant for no license and something else.
I believe it was a speeding ticket.
Okay. Y solamente una corrección en caso de que se quedara fuera. Era una orden de arresto por no licencia o una infracción por no licencia y por exceso de velocidad. Thank
Yes.
you.
Not to get too much into the facts, Judge, I have been working closely with Miss Maria and Daniel. They came to my office together.
Ay, no para entrar muchos en los hechos, pero yo he estado hablando directamente con María y Daniel. Y ellos vinieron a mi despacho.
And she explained in their 10-year relationship, nothing of this sort has ever been accused before.
Y ella explicó que en los 10 años de relación, nada de esta índole se le ha acusado anteriormente.
She also explained that the altercation was not heightened to assault and strangulation.
Ella también dijo que el altercado no salió o no ocurrió nada que tuvo que ver con estrangulación.
And that on this particular night, alcohol was involved through both parties.
Y que esa noche en particular, los dos habían ingerido alcohol.
And I would keep it brief there with the, so what I would ask Judge is that you consider giving a bond for these cases.
Y lo que yo me gustaría decir, en este caso, señoría, es de que usted le podría otorgar una fianza en estos casos.
Strictly under the Ayala factors that allowing Mr. Castillo
Estrictamente en el factor de Ayala, permitiéndole al señor Castillo
to provide for his family as he is the only one working and taking care of his wife and kids.
para que le permita proveer al señor Castillo, porque es el único que trabaja en la familia para proveer para su familia o para su esposa y sus hijos.
And if called upon, Ms. Torres will address the need and concern of having her husband home.
Y si usted la llama, la señorita Torres va a hablar, o la señora Torres va a hablar de la necesidad o la inquietud que ella tiene de tener a su esposo en su casa.
As we all work through this case.
Y según todos trabajamos en este caso.
And lastly, Judge, I would want to make known that Mr. Castillo is not a flight risk.
Y finalmente, su señoría, yo quiero que usted sepa que el señor Castillo no está en riesgo de darse a la fuga.
The warrant was to be served at his house.
La orden de arresto se le entregó en su casa.
His wife called my office.
Su esposa llamó a mi oficina.
Retrieved Mr. Castillo from work.
Fue a buscar al señor Castillo a su trabajo.
Brought him to my office in less than an hour.
Lo trajo a mi oficina en menos de una hora.
And after our consultation,
y después de tener nuestra consulta,
I told her to go home and get the family arrangements in place.
Yo le dije que fuera a la casa e hiciera los arreglos con su familia.
And have him at the jail by 9 o'clock.
Y que lo llevara a la cárcel para las 9.
And roughly about 9:07, she called me.
Y más o menos a las 9:07 ella me llamó.
At the jail with Mr. Castillo to turn him in.
Y ella estaba en la cárcel con el señor Castillo para entregarlo.
And Judge, if you have any questions for Ms. Torres, you may proceed.
Y su señoría, si usted tiene alguna pregunta para la señorita Torres, usted puede proceder.
Ms. Torres, would you unmute your microphone and turn your camera on, please?
Señorita Torres, ¿podría usted encender su micrófono y su cámara, por favor?
Ms. Torres Rodriguez, this is a second request for you to unmute your microphone and turn your camera on.
Hello.
Ma'am, would you raise your right hand for me, please?
Señorita, ¿podría usted levantar su mano derecha para mí, por favor?
Do you swear or affirm any statements you make during this proceeding be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Jura usted y afirma que cualquier declaración que usted dé durante este proceso va a ser la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad, lo jura ante Dios.
Sí.
Yes.
Ma'am, did you call the police on August 14, 2021 to report an incident between you and your husband?
No.
Señorita, llamó usted a la policía el día 14 de agosto del 2021 para reportar un incidente entre usted y su esposo? No.
No.
How did the police arrive at your residence?
¿Cómo llegó la policía a su residencia?
Porque vino una amistad y
It's okay, ma'am. I have 3 children. The baby is not a bother to me.
Está bien, señorita.
Okay,
Yo tengo 3 niños y a mí no me molesta.
nosotros habíamos discutido y yo le llamé a una amistad. Entonces, pues ahora sí que los dos estábamos agredidos físicamente, pero mi esposo se fue porque dijo que él tenía las de perder.
Perdón. Si lo puede decir en oraciones. Usted había
perdón.
usted llamó a un amigo.
Yo le hablé a una amiga mía.
Ma'am, this is a court proceeding, so only one person speaks at a time. So you got to let Miss Bermudez finish what she's saying before you respond, okay?
Okay. What Ms. Torres said was, we had argued and I called a friend, but then my husband left because he knew that he was the one who was going to lose.
Okay. So what I have before me is an allegation that your husband choked you.
Lo que yo tengo ante mí es una alegación de que su esposo trató de estrangularla.
Ese día los dos estuvimos honestamente mal.
Honestly, on that day, both of us were in bad shape.
Okay. I do not choose to get in between relationships, but as a judge, I have a responsibility for public safety.
Yo no escojo involucrarme en las relaciones, pero como juez, yo tengo la obligación de proteger al público.
Okay.
If you are asking me to set a bond for your husband, I will consider it.
Si usted me está pidiendo que yo le conceda una fianza a su esposo, yo lo tomaría en consideración.
¿Es una pregunta?
Is that a question?
That's a statement.
Okay.
Eso es una declaración.
Okay.
I understand relationships are difficult.
Yo entiendo que las relaciones son difíciles
I have a responsibility for public safety.
y yo tengo la responsabilidad de mantener al público seguro.
That means protecting you even if you don't want protection.
Esto significa de protegerla a usted hasta si usted no quisiera ser protegida.
This matter is being recorded.
Este asunto está siendo grabado.
If you as the victim request of me to consider posting bond for your husband, I will consider it.
Si usted como una víctima me pide a mí que le conceda una fianza a su esposo, yo lo tomaría en consideración.
If you are not asking me to consider it, then I will proceed with my own judgment.
Y si usted no me está pidiendo que lo considere, entonces yo continuaría con mi propia decisión.
And Mr. Castillo Mejia, you should understand that if the allegations that are placed in these warrants are true, I would not consider you a good candidate to be on bond.
Y señor Castillo Mejía, usted tiene que tomar en consideración que si las alegaciones que están en estas órdenes de arresto son ciertas, yo no lo consideraría a usted un buen candidato para poder concederle una fianza.
So, Ms. Miriam Torres Rodriguez, have you had an opportunity to consider what I proposed?
Entonces, señorita Miriam Torres Rodríguez, ¿ha tenido usted la oportunidad de considerar lo que yo le he propuesto?
Sí.
Yes.
You should understand, ma'am, that you should not be placed in a position where someone is placing their hands around your throat.
Y usted tiene que tomar en consideración, señorita, que usted no debe de estar, o usted no la deben poner en una posición donde alguien esté poniendo sus manos en su cara.
I do not consider that the way that adults conduct themselves.
Yo no considero eso la forma en la que los adultos deberían comportarse.
This is a loaded issue that I'm placing in your lap, and I understand that.
Y esta es una responsabilidad muy grande la cual yo le estoy dando, y yo así lo entiendo.
But you have taken steps to make yourself available for this questioning.
Pero usted se ha puesto disponible para que se le hagan este tipo, para que se le hagan este tipo de preguntas.
So, ma'am, have you had an adequate opportunity to consider my request?
¿Ha tenido usted suficiente tiempo para considerar lo que yo le estoy pidiendo?
Sí.
Yes.
What would be your preference?
¿Y cuál sería su preferencia?
Que le dieran una multa para poder salir.
That you will give him a fine for him to be able to be released.
Mr. Khalil, based
Yeah.
upon what Ms. Miriam Torres is saying, I will be inclined to grant a bond for your client.
Señor Khalil, basado en lo que la señorita Miriam Torres está diciendo, yo estoy inclinado a otorgarle una fianza a su cliente.
But I need your client to understand that the allegations in these warrants are in no way, shape, or form how he should conduct himself.
Pero yo quiero que su cliente sepa que según las alegaciones contenidas en estas órdenes de arresto, no es la forma como él debería de comportarse.
So I'm going to set a $5,000 bond on a criminal damage to property in the second degree.
Yo le voy a conceder una fianza de $5,000 en invasión o daños a la propiedad en el segundo grado.
I'm going to set a $10,000 bond on the aggravated assault by strangulation.
Le voy a conceder una fianza de $10,000 en el cargo de agresión con agravante por estrangulación.
And I'm going to set a $5,000 bond on the false imprisonment charge.
Le voy a conceder una fianza de $5,000 por el cargo de aprisionamiento ilegal.
Miss Miriam Torres Rodriguez, ma'am, I was going to place a stay away provision on the bond.
Señorita Miriam Torres Rodríguez, yo iba a ponerle una disposición legal o una orden legal de donde él tenía que mantenerse alejado.
Is it also your request that I do not place a stay away provision on this bond?
Usted también está pidiendo de que yo no le ponga la orden de que se tiene que mantener alejado. En
Sí,
esta-
que no la ponga.
No, don't put that on.
Okay, Mr. Mejia,
Señor Mejía,
Yes, sir.
you're gonna have a $5,000 bond set on the criminal damage property in the second degree, a $1,000 bond on the hit and run accident charge.
I'm sorry, Judge. Señor Mejía, usted va a tener una fianza de $5,000 por el cargo de daños, invasión o daños a la propiedad en segundo grado, una fianza de $1,000 por el cargo de chocar y darse a la fuga,
A $500 bond set on the driving a vehicle without changing a license charge or address charge.
una multa, perdón, una fianza de $500 en el cargo de manejar con licencia de conducir sin haberla cambiado a su dirección,
A $10,000 bond set on an aggravated assault by strangulation charge.
en el cargo de agresión con agravante por estrangulación va a ser una fianza de $10,000.
A $5,000 bond set on the battery family violence charge.
Una fianza de $5,000 por el cargo de agresión corporal, violencia doméstica,
A $5,000 bond set on the false imprisonment charge.
una fianza de $5,000 por el cargo de aprisionamiento ilegal,
And a $500 bond set on the failure to maintain lane charge.
y una fianza de $500 por el cargo de no poder mantener su carril.
I am going to remove the stay away provision for you to stay away from Miriam Torres Rodriguez.
Yo voy a remover la disposición legal de mantenerse alejado de Miriam Torres Rodríguez.
Mr. Mejia, you have something that most people don't have, which is a family.
Señor Mejía, usted tiene algo que la mayoría de las personas no tienen, lo cual es una familia.
It's your duty to protect your wife and your children.
Y es su trabajo proteger a su esposa y a sus hijos.
I am allowing you to go back to your wife and your family.
Yo le estoy permitiendo que usted regrese a su esposa y a su familia.
Please don't make a fool out of me by abusing this issue.
Por favor, no me haga ver como un tonto y abusando este asunto.
No, sir.
Okay. Is there anything else, Mr. Cleo?
¿Algo más, señor Caleo?
That'd be a judge. Thank you.
Eso sería todo, su señoría. Muchas gracias.
Okay, all parties are free to go.
Ok, todas las partes se pueden retirar.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a good day.
You have a better one.
Okay, I believe we have one other person, Miss Bermudez,
Yes, sir.
and I was trying to check my email because I did not write it down.
Will that be Mr. Gonzalez, Judge?
That sounds right. Let's see. Yep. Roman Gonzalez. Can we bring Mr. Gonzalez up?
He's already up, y'all.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez, sir, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señor González, señor, ¿puede usted escuchar y entender al intérprete?
Hey.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, you're charged with 1 count of hit and run by accident,
Señora, usted se le acusa de un cargo de chocar y darse a la fuga y de tener un accidente,
1 count of driving a vehicle without a license,
un cargo de conducir un vehículo sin licencia de conducir,
and 1 count of having an open container in the vehicle.
un cargo de tener un envase alcohólico abierto en el vehículo.
This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County.
Esta es su comparecencia inicial ante el Tribunal de Primera Instancia del Condado de Clayton.
We're not here to determine your guilt or innocence.
Nosotros nos estamos aquí para determinar su culpabilidad o su inocencia.
I'm here to inform you that you have a bond set of $1,500 on the hit and run by accident charge.
Yo estoy acá para informarle que usted tiene una fianza de $1,500 en el cargo de chocar y darse a la fuga durante el accidente.
A $1,000 bond on the driving a vehicle without a license charge.
Y en el cargo de manejar un vehículo sin licencia de conducir va a tener una fianza de $1,000.
And a $500 bond on the open container charge.
Y una fianza de $500 en el cargo de tener un envase alcohólico abierto.
You have a total bond of $3,000. Do you believe you can make this bond, sir?
Usted tiene una fianza total de $3,000. ¿Cree usted que va a poder pagar su fianza, señor?
Creo que sí.
I think so.
You have a preliminary hearing date set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201.
Usted tiene su audiencia preliminar fija para el día 7 de diciembre a las 8:30 de la mañana en la sala 201.
That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
Esa audiencia se cancela tan pronto usted pague su fianza y salga, y usted recibiría un nuevo citatorio por correo.
Sí, entiendo.
Yes, I do understand.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
¿Quiere usted que yo vea si usted califica para nombrarle un abogado?
Sí.
Yes.
You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me about this process?
Usted sí califica, señor, y yo le voy a nombrar un abogado para que lo represente. ¿Tiene alguna pregunta para mí con respecto a este proceso?
No. Por el momento no.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back.
Ok, señor, puede retirarse.
Thank you, Ms. Bermudez. You have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge. You too. Stay safe.
I will try. Mr. Beebe.
Excuse me, y'all, before he comes up, just Mr. Dwayne McGee, can he go last? He was the one who caused the disturbance. He's still here.
Okay,
But he'll be at last.
that's fine by me.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mr. Beebe, sir, you're charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle with a suspended registration or suspended or canceled registration. Bond's going to be set at $500 for that. 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. You were charged twice with driving on a suspended license. I've dismissed one of those charges. But the second charge that has warrant number 2021 WA18650, I'm going to let go through. So you're going to have a total bond set at $3,500. Do you believe you post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Brown. Sir, good morning, sir. You're charged with one count of cruelty to children in the third degree, one count of cruelty to children in the first degree, which I've dismissed that charge, and one count of battery. You're gonna have a $3,000 bond on cruelty to children in the third degree, which is a misdemeanor, and a $5,000 bond on the battery charge. So that's a total bond of $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a stairway provision on the bond to stay away from a Deja drummer. Do you understand that?
Sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Just one question. How long would the stairway provision last?
So it will stay in place until your case is resolved or it's modified. Ms. Drummer can contact the solicitor's office, and she can ask or make a request of them to modify that condition. And they will look into the case, and they will make their own independent determination as to whether they believe that this should be removed or not. If they make the decision that it should be removed, there will be a consent order entered into between your lawyer and the solicitor's office, and then they will present it to a judge for the judge to sign. And I don't know of a judge that wouldn't sign it. So that's the process. Okay. And sir, and again, most of my calendar, well, not most, about 40% of my calendar is this kind of stuff. As an adult, you gotta learn how to disagree without the police being called in. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. You're free to go back. Mr. Cod. So,
Good morning.
sir, good morning. Is your last name CODD as in duck duck, or COBB as in boy boy?
Yes, sir. DD. Double B. DD.
Okay.
D as in dog.
They have you in our system as DD as in duck duck.
Yeah, it's CODD. CODD.
COBD. So boy duck.
DD.
As in duck duck.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sir, you're charged with one count of cruelty to children in the third degree. Bond's going to be set at $3,000. One count of simple of battery, family violence. Bond's going to be set at $5,000. And one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Bond's going to be set at $20,000. So that's a total bond of $28,000. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I have an attorney, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me?
If I get my bundle today, would I be able to pay?
You'll be released today. Okay. Anything else, sir?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. You're free to go back. Mr. Crawford.
Go back to housing. Well, no, sir. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Crawford. Sir, you're charged with one count of giving a false name, address, date of birth. Bond is going to be set at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry.
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That day will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. I also have a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Hold on one second. I'm going to find that you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, what's your question, sir?
I was trying to see if you could lower my bond. So 'cause I have a job and I got a son and a daughter that I only take care of, and I only have a certain amount of money.
Okay, so, sir, the allegation is that you gave the name of Frederian Moore.
I was intoxicated.
Okay. So, Mr. Crawford,
Yes, sir.
knowing that you have a job and you have children, laws are prescribed so that people will not break them. Not that they break them and then they bring up an excuse of I was intoxicated.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to leave it the way that it is, sir. And if that causes a detriment to your job, to you or your family, you're the person that did it.
I understand, sir.
Okay. All right. You're free to go back.
How much you said it was?
$2,000. It'll be approximately $200 for the bonding company.
Okay.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, you're charged with one count of trafficking in methamphetamine. I cannot set bond at this stage on this offense. So bond is going to be denied. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning. You're going to have a bond hearing date set for December 12th at 8:30 in the morning. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back. Mr. Miller.
Mr. Mills, the one I emailed you about, he said he did.
Oh, yes, okay. Mr. McGee.
That's the one's gonna be for last, next one, Mr. Neal.
Ah.
Mr. Neal.
Okay, you're throwing all of this stuff at me. My brain is not that big to handle all of these changes.
My apologies, Your Honor.
Mr. Neal.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Neal, sir, you're charged with one count of use or possession of drug-related objects. That's a misdemeanor. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. One count of possession of marijuana, less than an ounce. Bond is also going to be set at $1,500. That's a total bond of $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir, but is there any way you can lower the bond?
No.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, I was supposed to have had a warrant, or, you know, I was supposed to have had a warrant in Cobb for a violation of probation, and I was supposed to have had a burglary charge, which is how I got the marijuana charge, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a warrant, I don't have any, you know what I'm saying, charges pending in any county. That's how I got the marijuana charge, because they, you know, they had to, you know, put me under arrest to search me. You know what I'm saying? I was just on the street, I was homeless, sir. You see why I'm here, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand I have the charges now, but I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? what is it? I wasn't to be searched. You see what I'm saying? I was homeless. I was out on the street. They just pulled up on me. You see what I'm saying? I don't have a warrant. I don't have, anything for them to have mess with me. You see what I'm saying? And that's when they told me I had a warrant or whatnot. That's how they was able to search me.
Is the possession of marijuana legal or illegal in the state of Georgia?
Illegal, but decriminalized.
In Clayton County?
I wouldn't know, sir.
Okay. So I hear your argument and I understand what you're saying, is that essentially the police rolled up on you because they believed that you had a warrant for your arrest, and the belief was mistaken.
Yeah. And they
So,
all the way.
oh, hold on, sir, please. The relevant issue is whether law enforcement had the opportunity to lawfully be where they were when they discovered an unlawful action.
I never had created unlawful action for the mess with me, sir. I told you I'm homeless, like, and then I only had the evidence. If you were able to see evidence, I only had 2 weed roaches. Like, it wasn't even enough to, actually, honestly, like, could have been just thrown on the ground or something, you know what I'm saying? I was standing where I was standing yesterday morning because it was raining. You see what I'm saying? I was homeless. So that's about it. I wasn't smoking, I wasn't doing nothing illegal, I wasn't trespassing anywhere. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Mr. Neal, I have heard and I understand your argument, but this is not the place for that. And well, let me ask you this. Do you want me to appoint you a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm appointing you a lawyer. You need to speak to your lawyer, Mr. Neal, because some would say when you say you're homeless, it's like, well, where do you get the money to buy weed if you're homeless?
I still have a job, sir. I still have clothes, I still have friends.
Some would say, why don't you put that money towards being...
I will. I got paid today, you know what I'm saying? I would have got me a hotel room or anything. I would have had an Airbnb, anything. I was homeless because of, the situation I was in with other people, but, it honestly wasn't my fault. But like, I'm homeless. I would have got paid today and been in another living situation.
Mr. Neal, you're an adult. Everything is your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. Okay, that I put myself in a living situation with other people, but it's not my fault I'm here. I didn't have a warrant. I didn't have anything to be, here, except that I had weed. They had to lie and say that they detained me, to detain me. I don't have a warrant in Fulton or DeKalb.
Well, that's what you should speak to your lawyer about. And your lawyer may be able to get these charges kicked. I mean, this isn't the crime of the century. It's a really low level offense. So I would speak to my lawyer about this. I would also, just as man to man, tell you that, sir, you got to get your life in order. And it looks like you do have a warrant out of Cobb for violation of probation.
Now I do. I would now that I got these charges.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Neal?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back. Mr. Is it Porter Latin or
For the Latin.
Porter Latin? Okay, sir. You have one count of battery, family violence, bond set at $5,000, one count of criminal of aggravated stalking, bond. I cannot set bond on that offense. So bond is denied on that. One count of obstructing or hindering an emergency telephone call, bond is going to be set at $2,000, and one count of kidnapping. Bond is going to be set, bond is going to be denied on that. There's going to be a stay away provision on your bond, stay away from a Valerie Stokes. Do you understand that? Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. You're going to have a bond hearing date set for December 10th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes,
Are you currently working, sir?
I just got a job with a construction company, and for the record, the woman that I was staying with, I was renting a room off of, but it turned into something else, and something that I didn't want, and she kind of flipped the script on me, and because I refused to have relations with her, she made several accusations against me. My boss also approached her about it. She tried to evict me from the house, sent people to my house with threats, because I refused to sleep with her. So if anybody was abused here, it was me. I just wanted to be noted for the record.
Okay. So noted. Is there anything else, sir?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mr. Rambert.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. We're almost at afternoon now. Sir, you're charged with one count of theft by taking as a misdemeanor. Bond is going to be set at $2,000. One count of battery, family violence. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. So that's a total bond of $7,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir, I have an attorney.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Due to my lack of criminal history and me being self-employed, being a great citizen, can you please reduce that 5,000 just by a little bit, just by a little bit? Please, sir.
Okay, hold on one second. No, looking at the affidavit, I'm not going to reduce it. And the simple fact is,
I understand, sir.
I just want adults to act like adults.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take total responsibility. Going back tomorrow. Have a good one. Be safe.
All right.
All right.
Mr. Ricks. Mr. Rick, sir, you're charged with one count of family violence battery. Bond's going to be set at $5,000. One count of cruelty to children in the first degree as a felony. Bond's going to be set at $5,000. And one count of aggravated assault. Bond's going to be set at $10,000. So that's a total bond of $20,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir, but do you mind if I ask for it?
Okay, we'll get to that at the end. Okay, and I'll let you say whatever you want to say. There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond, stay away from a cyan or sin Ricks. Sine Ricks. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to find that you qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, what is it that you wanted to tell me?
Okay, so this is a situation of a unruly teenager that has been flip-flopped from home to home. She's just recently been in my custody for the last 5 months, at which time she has done things in which I cannot be in charge of because of the job in which that I held. So, you know, as far as in what I've done, as far as in disciplining her, I do understand that, and I felt as though I was going about that the correct way, as she is one of my children. And with that being the case, I did drive her out to her grandparents, who has been raising her on her mother's side of the family. And I talked to her then, and this was prior to me even knowing that I had gotten any warrants or any charges, due to the fact of me dropping her off at the anger and mental hospital, because of the facts of you know, her being suicidal and all of the different things that I'm going through with her within this short amount of time. So I'm asking that you know, you just look at it a little bit more, because I could provide all the proof that I need in the hearings upcoming, but just look at it a little bit more closely, because my whole family is dependent on me. I do have other children, and I did tell my daughter that I can't throw away my whole life trying to save hers. And that's all that I'm asking.
Okay, so Mr. Ricks, it sounds like what you're saying is that you have an unruly daughter. There are procedures that are in place to handle that, and called defects. If you know, if she's placed in foster care and she's out someplace, or she's in a state facility, she may begin to realize how great she had things at home.
And actively, I was working with the social workers and her high school, and we've had multiple issues and problems with her school and fighting, just like how you were explaining how it's responsible for the public safety. As far as in my daughter, I was more so taking upon that role as far as in high school, and she's having to stay away from certain students, and I was more so just being more visual as a parent. And I have been, you know, more.
Yeah, I mean, being a parent is not an easy thing when you have, especially children as they become teenagers and they're basically quasi adults. But you have to control yourself, and the allegations that I see, I'm not inclined to reduce the bond. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sir. You're free to go back.
Thank you. But what was that complete bond altogether?
Okay. Let's see. $20,000.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. You're free to go back. Mr. Robinson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. You're charged with one count of simple battery. Bond is going to be set at $4,000. One count of driving under the influence of alcohol to the extent that you're a less safe driver. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. One count of improper lane change. Bond is going to be set at $500. One count of driving on a suspended license. Bond is going to be set at $1,500. And one count of hit and run accident. Bond's going to be set at $3,000. So you're going to have a total bond of, let's see, 9, 12, $14,000. You believe you can post that bond, sir?
What I would like to to beg of you, I mean, if there's any way that it could get reduced, the simple battery came as I was taken to the hospital, Your Honor. I previously injured my leg, and I really, Your Honor, all I was doing, the officer grabbed my one leg that it's fine, Your Honor, and I thank you, and I will pay.
Okay. All right, sir. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Is there anything else you want to tell me?
No, sir. Could you just give me the full amount one more time? I'm sorry.
$14,000.
Thank you.
All right, you're free to go back. Mr. Royster.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. You're charged with one count of aggravated assault. Bond is going to be set at $10,000, and one count of battery bond is going to be set at $5,000. So that's a total bond of $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 8th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. There's going to be a stairway provision on this bond to stay away from a SADA Tyndall. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me?
Yes, Your Honor. Is it possible that you can somehow couple what my fee is for me to be able to pay directly to the sheriff's office? So I can bail myself out, because I don't have any immediate family. Although I have the resources to bond out, I don't have anyone. Pretty much all my family have passed away, and I don't have anyone close enough to me to bond me out.
Okay, so you will have the ability to post your bond by cash, commercial, or property. Cash will be your delivering the full amount of your bond in cash to the sheriff's department. They will hold on, sir. Let me explain it to you. They will hold that money until your case is resolved, and then they will return that money to you. You can go through a bonding company where you would have to pay a percentage of the bond, generally between 10 or 12%, as a fee to the bonding company. You would not get that money returned to you that you pay to the bonding company, because that's their fee. If you have property within Clayton County that has a net equity of 3 times the bond amount, you can put that property up for your bond. And that property, the sheriff's department will place a lien on that property. And then when your case is over, they will take the lien off the property. So those are the possible ways for you to post a bond.
Can I bond myself out though? Do I need someone else to bond myself, to sign myself out? Using a bond company is the question.
Okay, there are two things that you said. A bonding company and then someone else. The someone else, you or someone else, can place the entire amount of your bond in cash to the sheriff's department. You can also go through a bonding company. Okay? Am I making sense to you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Royster?
Thank you.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back. Mr. Snyder.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. You're charged with one count of cruelty to children in third degree. Bond is going to be set at $3,000. You're also charged with one count of family violence battery. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. That's a total bond of $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Can you confirm what that would be through a bonds company? This is my first time ever getting in trouble. I'm not sure how it works. What would be the price if I went through a bail bonds?
Okay, so right now you have a total bond of $8,000. The sheriff's department is required by law to add fees onto the bond. And I don't have access to the fee schedule, so it'd be a little bit higher than $8,000. Hold on, sir. If you go through a bonding company, the bonding company will generally charge a fee between 10 and 12% of the bond. I think there are 5 bonding companies that are authorized to write bonds here in Clayton County. And if you request the list of the bonding companies, they will give it to you. So that's step 1. Step 2 is that you could pay the entire amount of the bond to the sheriff's department in cash, and they will hold that money and return it to you when your case is over. If you own property within the county that has at least 3 times the amount of the bond in equity, and your situation, it'll be at least $26,000 in equity, you can place that property up to have you released. The sheriff's department will place a lien on the property, and they will remove the lien when your case is over.
Okay, so were you done? Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, did that answer your question?
Almost. I just want to ask you to confirm with a bail bond, that would be about $800.
So you're asking me to confirm.
It doesn't have to be exact price. I just want to know around, because I've never done
It'll be around that amount. And I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies, because their business model is solely to help people get out of jail. So they'll work with you.
Yes, sir. And I also want to tell you that I am mental health, and that before I came and turned myself in, that I did go check myself into the mental hospital. Is called Peachford. I stayed there for a week. This is my second time going there. I'm trying to receive help. I had no honest intentions of doing what I did. I had a moment of my depression and anxiety and things overwhelmed me. And I was just wondering if you could take any of these into consideration to lower my bond by anything. Because I've got back on my medicine. I've taken a shot that lasts 30 days. I've taken the measurements to make sure that it will not happen again, sir.
If you're speaking on the medication that I know about, the shot is the best way to go. But you also have to understand that in the state of Georgia, the fact that you've been diagnosed with a mental health condition, and if you're non-compliant with taking the medication, you cannot raise your mental health condition as a defense. It's the same, it's treated the same as if you were to get drunk and get in a car and drive and kill someone. You can't say that, well, I was drunk, that's why I did it. That's why it happened. So, sir, you're gonna have challenges. you're gonna need to stay compliant with your medication. And
I have all intentions to stay on my medication and to never come off until a doctor tells me that I am ready.
who is Ginger Snyder?
That is my mother.
And you currently live with your mother?
No, sir, I stay with my grandmother.
Okay. All right. There's going to be a stairway provision on your bond to stay away from Ginger Snyder until it gets changed. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for December 7th at 8:30 in the morning, courtroom 201. That date will get changed when you bond out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to appoint you a lawyer? Okay, I'm going to find that you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. And Mr. Snyder, please be compliant with the medication and the directions that you're being given. Okay?
I want you to know not to ask you of anything again, but this time around, I did make the decision on my own to go get the shot and get the medicine and take the help. I am gonna make sure that it does not happen again, sir.
That's a great decision. And sir, you can have a worthwhile life if you just remember and take this seriously and keep yourself in as stressless environment as possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. You're free to go back.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mr. McGee.
Yes, sir. First, I want to say I apologize about that outburst. I had to go to the restroom and I had got up, but I apologize about that, sir. You may proceed.
That's okay, Mr. McGee. Sir, you're charged with one count of battery. Bond is going to be set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir, due to the fact that I was recently just posted a $10,000 bond on my aggravated assault and robbery charge, and I'm pretty sure that you see from August 25th. I only was home for about 10 to 11 days. I did go back to working at Popeyes in Fayetteville. You could ask Ms. Trish, that is the general manager there. I did maybe 5 days straight. But I'm only getting paid for about 3 days. So if you can reduce the bond to maybe like 3,500 or 3,200, I can pay that today. And I could probably pay the rest on the back end. My mom and dad already told me if I was to get in trouble again, they wouldn't pay my bond. I actually came here from Southern Regional Hospital. I was trying to get the help. I'm on Invega and Trazodone at night. I take 6 milligrams of Invega. I take 50 milligrams of Trazodone. I'm trying to do everything right. If I was to take a drug test right now, I would pass with flying colors. I haven't smoked a blunt since I've been released, and that's about 3 months sober now. I haven't took any alcohol or anything. I like to be in my right mind. I'm a truck driver. I make about 1,100 a week, but I'm trying to get back to my dispatcher. He told me that the only way I can get back to him if I do good, and it's stressful right now because I only been home about 10 days, sir. 10 to 12 days.
Let me ask you this, Mr. McGee. How is the Invega administered to you? Is it by shot or by pill?
They gave me the pill. I went to Battle Creek probably 3 or 4 days after I was released to try to get the shot, but they told me they couldn't give me the shot so fast because they had to work their way into it. So he gave me 2 different Invega pills. He gave me 3 milligrams and he gave me 9 milligrams. But I had left the jail with 6 milligrams. So I took the 6 milligrams for about 5 days until I ran out of the last 5 of those. And then the last couple of days I've been taking the 9 milligrams. That way I won't miss dosage and be lower dose on 3 milligrams until next week when I was supposed to go get my shot back in Battle Creek. So if you can reduce the bond to 500, I could probably pay that total today. Because I'm only getting paid for 3 or 4 days from Popeyes. And they pay me $11.25 an hour.
So, Mr. McGee, you know, the worst periods are when you're starting the medication and you're coming off of the medication.
Yes, sir. I've been dealing with this since I was 13 years old. It was triggered by synthetic marijuana. So I got a symbolized grandmother tattoo on my right arm. I lost my grandmother last year. I made a vow to her that I would never smoke marijuana again in my life. because it seemed to be every time that I smoke marijuana, I get in trouble. And Miss Pamela Adamson, I believe that's the attorney that helped me get off on the aggravated robbery, maybe helped me get a bond with that.
Mr. McGee, I'll set a bond at $1,000. I will also place a stay away provision on the bond, stay away from Ryan Shears. Do you understand that?
I'm not sure who that is, but if that's the doctor that I had here, it was
That's the
was
person at the hospital. Yes.
It was in self-defense. They was trying to give me a COVID shot that I didn't take by my consent. I was actually jumped by about 8 or 9 doctors. They tried to George Floyd me. Excuse my friend.
Mr. McGee, you're gonna lose Mr. McGee, you're gonna lose me going down that path.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I would encourage you not to go down that path.
Yes, sir.
I'm setting a bond of $1,000.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. McGee.
I will stay out of trouble. I promise you.
As I told the other individual. So I'll tell you a little bit of my background, Mr. McGee. I've represented more than 30 people facing the death penalty. And a lot of the people I represented were like you.
Yes, sir.
Where they were under-medicated or unmedicated and did something.
Yes, sir.
And once that happens, all they want to do is put you on death row.
And that's not my goal. I'm not one. I'm an artist, and I don't want to sign a death row records. If that makes sense to you.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm an artist. Young Dolph is actually interested in signing me right now. So he only told me the only way that he's going to sign me if I stay on the right track and stay out of jail. So I'm supposed to have a listening party tomorrow evening at the Kids Lounge on White House Street, and everybody's expecting me to be there. So I will pay this bond today, and you won't see my face until the next court date for my aggravated assault charge. So that's word.
So, Mr. McGee.
Yes, sir.
I have heard those words before.
And
hold on, sir. And I've seen people not follow through.
You won't have to worry about that with me. I stand on business the same way you stand on business, sir.
So, Mr. McGee, remain compliant with your medical protocol.
Yes, sir.
And what you have to do.
And that's because I have 2 little brothers that look up to me that's 13 and 15. I told them that in order for us to live a happy life, because it seemed like the last couple of years I only brought my mom hurt, and my mom cared about me so much.
Mr. McGee. Mr. McGee. Mr. McGee.
Yes, sir.
You have to care about yourself to make it to the end of your life. Because
Emily is still on here. She can speak on my behalf on my mental health. I have psychosis, bipolar disorder. And
well, Mr. McGee, let me tell you, my number one concern and my charge is public safety. And I have no problems in putting you in jail.
Understood, but this time I was really just defending myself. I was really defending myself. Yes, sir.
I have no problems in placing you in jail to protect the public. And I also have no problems in helping people.
Yes, sir.
If they are truly serious about helping themselves.
Yes, sir.
So we'll see how this turns out.
Do you have another court date on my aggravated assault charge already?
I do not.
Yes, sir.
I do not.
Yes, sir. Because I paid full bond for the robbery, I believe, on the August 25th when I took the taser off the man's waist and tried to shoot it at him. But that's a different story for a different day.
Yes, sir. Okay, Mr. McGee, you're free to go back.
Thank you for the $1,000 bond, sir. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Okay, that looks like that ends today for us. I hope you are going to have a good weekend, Deputy Requena, or are you going to be working?
I'll be working this weekend, Your Honor.
Yeah. Well, I'll say a prayer for you.